Could be me. Could be you. See, I've moved beyond being sad because people are dying. I am actually convinced that the state is actively participating in this particular massacre indirectly. Why is it doing so? Because the state has refused to reform public transportation.
But you can now help others to say it right.
So what's for lunch? What are we launching?
2 hours.
Well, that's how you say it, right? But I believe you're on our Facebook page watching that particular accident, how mangled the vehicles are. And
Aflawo
these are
to Ivory
buses,
Coast,
you
and
can see it. I mean, I've seen them.
to Accra.
And I want you to
Now,
see them also and
yeah,
appreciate
you
why
overtake
it's
you.
important
And I went to
that we have this
complete.
conversation,
And
why
I
it's
said back
important
on
that
to
you also contribute to this conversation. So together, we can ensure that we deal with this once and for all. And it's only live on Facebook.
45
That's Joy99.7 FM. It's only on Facebook, Joy99.7 FM. But you know, everyone can use Koba. It's got a payment channel for the big bosses, the market woman, the mechanic, the cocoa seller, and the small shop owner. Sit back, relax, and simply pay for your own student association dues and contributions. Transfer funds across all bank accounts or mobile money wallets. Top up airtime and data, pay your insurance, TV subscription, utility bills, pay school fees, pay for that watch. Do all these and more. Show live use Koba and enjoy live video. Download Koba. Access bar, just dial *665# and follow the prompts. Koba, Allies, Simplify. Let's get into the newspaper review now. Brought to us by First Atlantic Bank.
After finishing
refreshingly different Star Assurance, your solid partner, and Visa contactless card. Tap to pay with your Visa contactless card. It's fast, easy, and secure. Visa everywhere you want
save
to
the other driver.
But owning a car
did not collide on
is
the
now
crash.
easy thanks to
So
First Atlantic
unfortunately,
Bank. With a purple
other
auto
we
loan
saw
from First
that the
Atlantic
bus-
Bank, you can
the
purchase
other
that dream
bus,
car and
which
pay off in
has
monthly
already done
installments
overtaking,
instead of having to pay the
has
full price
crashed
all
our
at
car
once.
at the
All
back
you
of
have
our
to do
car.
is pick up an invoice from an
Then this
accredited
would
car
happen.
vendor
So,
and visit
the truth of the
any
matter is
First
both
Atlantic
cars made
Bank
an
branch in
overtaking.
Accra,
Ours
Kumasi, Tema,
was very
Takoradi,
fast to
Techiman, Tamale, and
finish
sign up to the
his
Purple Auto Loan and
lane or
voila,
whatever that you
you'll be
wanted.
cruising home in that
Then
dream car
unfortunately, the other
without
one
hassle.
was not
For
able
further
to
information, kindly call
move into his lane because the other cars
0302682203
was
or
it seems it was also having a
0302679253.
that
Terms
caused
and
the
conditions
accident.
apply.
So
First Atlantic Bank,
people in our bus,
refreshingly
many
different.
injured
Okay,
and
so let's get into the headlines
many
now,
died.
Raymond.
Now, the finder
I
is what I'm
witnessed
starting
about
with, and it's
5 to
reporting this
6,
morning. Plots Journalist
people who
Network
died
to Project
instantly
Maritime
at the spot
Industry
when I was
address high lending
moving them
rates.
with one
President
certain
Akufo-Addo
guy who
charges
who
BOG,
survived
and that
to
story is in page
rescue
8. It's
others.
really about the president at the
We're
inauguration
going
of the
from
board of the
Calgary
Bank
to
of
Accra.
Ghana, insisting that he cannot understand why we still have current lending to the private sector on the average being 21% or more, even though the policy rate for the same central bank stands at 13.5%. He actually moved on to say that this is counterproductive and it is the needed growth required for the private sector to be the engine of growth.
We do, but you see, the same story. Let me just
Engine of growth.
That's what we see.
Okay.
The same story, I mean, the similar stories in the Business and Financial Times. Banking sector, listen to this carefully. Banking sector holds 50% of government's domestic debts. Analysts bemoans crowding out effect on private sector. Now, if the banks find it very profitable to engage in government of Ghana treasury bills, how will they lend to the private man?
That's interesting.
Yes.
My only difficulty is that this problem, we have complained about it for a very long time. And having to ask the BOG to do some work on this is also something we have asked them to do for a very long time. You do recall the fight between Yao Safumafo and the banks in this case, that he didn't understand why they're still charging very high. You also recall the one that the gentleman Ecospio Gabriel had. He even did a forum.
Yes.
Insisting that they cannot hold the state to ransom. They need to bring it down. That's the commercial
The
banks.
state is borrowing from them at rate, and the state would never default. So if, the banks have issues with non-performing loans, they wouldn't have those issues with the state.
That's true.
So if the state is borrowing a lot of from the domestic markets, then what you would see is that many of these banks would prefer to engage in lending to the state, and the state would pay. So you, the private sector, or you, the private man, if you wanted, you become a very risky person to them.
That's true.
And as a result, they would give it to you at higher rates. And that's one of the things that we should be talking about. So it's not just about saying, well, the Bank of Ghana must deal with the Bank of Ghana. The state must also deal with it. The state must make a decision whether they want to continue borrowing much domestically or resorting to foreign debts. And if you resort to foreign debts,
that sometimes we are excited when we are told that, we are now having domestic debt being the larger chunk of our debt, right? Government touts that as for achievement because the other one is not really dollar denominated.
It's not, because look, if you look at it, as of May this year, out of a total 171.7 billion domestic debts, 86 billion, representing
50% of the debts was held by banks, and that was an increase of 20 billion from the same time last year. So that's very important. But let me just add this: equity funding inadequate. Funding derails venture capital trust fund, and Cocoa Board seeks collateralized loan to refinance debts. IMF wants it added to public debts.
So I see that the leadership of the Bank of Ghana has remained the same. It's interesting. It means that the government is very convinced that they did a great job from the financial sector restructuring and all of that, which many say they didn't do as well as they were supposed to do anyway. The more reason we are paying taxes to help them solve problems that were privately their own and the government. So you know how I cannot up to today understand why if some people cause problems in certain banks, it is our collective responsibility to fix the problem. Anyway, when the people who are involved are directly existing alive, they are still in the Republic of Ghana. Anyway, well, the other stories that we should be interested in, there's an editorial about mental health, and it traces back to this story in Abesim, the murder, where a gentleman known to be some of a footballer established, a droughtsman to establish, and some say he's also a sports commentator. This Richard Appiah gentleman was found with human parts in his room, as in where he lives, in his refrigerator, and he's alleged to have also killed others too. The IGP went there, but the Finder has an editorial on whether or not we should not explore the mental health section. Finder believes that there is established facts to suggest that 41% of the population have one form of mental health problem or the other. You know, in this country, when you mention mental health, people think that it is straight the one that you remove your clothes and be walking the streets. No, there are people with several other forms of mental health that they believe should be dealt with. They also point to the fact that the facilities that are delivering mental health are in poor states and their funding is pretty poor. So we do not expect to get the better part of it. But that story is also getting attention because the IGP was there and it's asked for community support. There's something interesting that the IGP did. The announcement of liaison officers who will provide care and support to the family and also liaise with the family and the police in all of this conversation. Remember how we try consistently to get that to happen when it comes to the Takoradi missing girls. It's a step in the right direction, to be fair.
Exactly. And this one we'll talk more about that. We'll get to the community and find out the general mood in the community as well. But the Ghanaian Observer says Akufo-Addo decries high lending rates, charges BOG to tackle problem. Another grabs most impactful MP award, and Akufo-Addo visits Germany. NPP MP lambast NDC minority of Agenda 111 project. And let your pulpits be platforms, platforms be conduits for preaching peace, unity, Vice President Bawumia to religious leaders.
Now, the Daily Statesman is touted the story in a different. It said reckless driving kills 19 on bloody weekend. And I think that's also a very wonderful way of putting it anyway, because sometimes we pretend that some other causes and all that are part of the problem. We are being reckless on it, and I believe that people will be reckless. They will continue to be reckless until they know that there's a very high cost to pay for it, and until they are prevented from engaging in that reckless being. Anyway, but that's the story, the big one on the front page there, and the horrific murder at the Besim 2 was also here. There's one about task force destroys Shamfan on the river Ankobra. You know the pictures going around about the state of Ankobra, making some of us insist and maintain that this 9-day wonder form of fighting Galamsey has to end some way, one way or the other. The photo opportunity kind of fight, the one that we take media around, come and see and do things as if we are doing something, when in reality nothing is happening on the ground. That should also end. Anyway, that's on the front page of the Daily Statesman.
Let's get to the new crusading guide. Hold your fires. GNPC AKE AGM deal not negotiated. Gabi Ocherdako. And GRA boss must go. Pressure mounts on president not to extend his stay.
Now, the Daily Guide is reporting this morning that Nana is in Germany and NDC afraid of Agenda 111. That's according to the NPP. And Yinam TVET Center is at 80% completion stage. And TVET is so important. Why we ignore it as a state, we actually are on the low, letting every single artisan work go to Togolese, Ivorians, and all of that. We are all pretending we don't know that's happening. We are all pretending that they're not the smartest and the best of the people that we have in the sector now. Very soon we come back and complain about it generally that our people are not getting jobs.
Well, I mean, we've had this conversation right here before.
Yeah.
And it's a fact They're
Yeah.
the best artisans.
Yes.
I mean, so if you're building, you look for them. I mean,
And they don't steal, oh.
No,
they
no,
they
no,
don't
no,
steal
no.
from you. We
Look,
know our
one-
people.
one-
Every time I runs person.
One, they do it very well. One, their prices are very cool,
Yeah.
and so I mean, they're charging you affordable prices, and so you want to engage
And
them.
if they tell you that they'll deliver in 1 week,
Yes, they come and learn because we don't. You see,
we taught them.
yes, but you see, I mean, they come to learn in our schools.
this republic.
Because when our artisans
Yeah.
always would want the shortcut to doing things.
Yeah.
They want the shortcut to doing things.
Not only shortcuts, they are also dishonest too. See, let's be fair with ourselves. We have people who will promise you that I'll deliver in 1 week, and the next time you call them, they'll not even pick up your call.
Yeah.
They would. In fact, it's not only the artisans; it's some of the people who are making clothes too. They are part of the same problem.
As for those guys.
Yeah. Anyway,
Let me
I
get
thought
to-
when they move from tailors to fashion designers, their mindset will change.
you know the painful aspect.
Yeah.
Particularly when you have an appointment, you have a special event.
Yes.
And then you give them money and say, "Oh, boss, Bejino,
yeah.
And then you get there and say, "Oh, I'm moving light."
One has been telling me stories from I'm not well, my family. Every day he has an emergency.
Let me get to the daily graphic, and it says newly created regions, 96 projects underway. Dan Butchie. Gory accidents, 19 perish. Please mount special cameras to enhance surveillance, and $1 billion IMF support arrives today. You know what that means, don't you?
Yeah. It means that our city will do better.
Ah, good.
No,
good,
but,
good.
okay, but are we going to get all at the same time? I think mostly the drawing rights, they
we're
spread out
told
over a
that this is
period,
the
yeah.
special drawing rights.
Yes, sir, yeah.
And so it's coming in $1 billion.
Yeah.
How am I saying 20 billion? $1 billion coming in, hitting the Bank of Ghana account today. No conditionalities. Something that we are not, And so listen to this. The governor of the Bank of Ghana said in a separate interview that the central bank was pleased with the development, given its expected impact on the city. You see, that the city has been relatively strong with support from strong reserves of about 5 months of import cover. If we add this, we should raise it higher and make the currency much stronger, he added.
Not for currency there to be stronger in the interim.
In the
As
interim,
whether
yeah.
that's a lasting, what they call solution to the problem. Well, it will be interesting to know. So, Viva CD is going to win briefly. Yeah. Briefly, yeah. And get back to the losing ways pretty soon. Anyway, now the Chronicle is reporting this morning. IGP directs CID headquarters to probe brutal Abesi murder, and that's on the front page with Minister to Task Force. Ben sees excavators and stuff. I thought that one we all knew that, right? That's been happening. Okay. And there's one more story you should know. Now, the Chronicle mostly has a very important quotation at it says Lamentations 3:4. Let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord. That's the biblical quotation here. And the story that's on the front page, the biggest story on the front page is Akufo-Addo grabs 5 million bribe report. That's a CJ's own, right? And flies out to London, and to Germany. They are unrelated, but you see, he took the report and he left. I mean, of course.
You can trust the Chronicle. They have a nice way of getting
putting
your
everything in the right
put
direction.
everything. Yeah. But let's get to our online news review, brought to us by Zenith Bank in your best interest, Goyle Good Energy. An Enterprise Life, no matter how much you make for a living, Enterprise Life has life solutions carefully crafted for you. Enterprise Life, your advantage, and Goyle higher grade fuels have been tried, tested, proving, and accepted over the years as most suitable for all engine types, including the latest vehicles with the most modern engines. In addition to these superior qualities, Goyle higher grade fuels are further fortified with the SP3 additive multifunctional enhancer, making it more efficient, eco-friendly, and they are sold at no extra cost. Goyle higher grade fuels come in the Goyle Super XP Run 95 and Diesel SP, and they also sold in every Goyle station and not just selected stations. So fill up with Goyle higher grade fuels. Ajibebia, Goyle Good Energy, Goyle Ya Yejim. And Zenith Bank, your customer-focused bank, has opened a new branch at Techi Plaza on the Spinters Road in a bid to serve you better. Enjoy an unrivaled banking experience at Zenith Bank's Techi Plaza branch on the Spinters Road. Our competent staff are on hand to ensure your visit is most rewarding. Visit us today for an awesome customer experience. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. And let's get to our online news review. He was my friend. My journal line this morning says, he was my friend. I could never have suspected him. Father of a murdered JHS student, talking about the Abesim situation. And robbers make away with 21,000 in filling station attacks at Obopa. Strangle man mistaken as security guard. 10 dead, others injured in car crash at Gomua, Mampong. And students didn't consent to be kissed by Anglican priests. They were clearly ambushed. Director of FIDA Ghana. Let's get to citynewsroom.com this morning. Shraj's decision not to probe Chief Justice disappointing and unfortunate. That's according to ASEPA. Delay in appointing MMDCs hasn't affected development at local level, the presidency is saying. And
So we don't need them.
we're told that these persons are acting.
We don't need them.
Well, it is looking like that because they've been asked to act. They've been asked to act. We'll get more of that shortly. Chalewote Festival organizers, artists were arrested for defying Public Order Act. That's according to the police. And BBC for this morning, Africa Live, Nigerian kidnappers free 15 students. The U.S. ramping up Afghan evacuation efforts, says Joe Biden. And Premier League reaction and latest transfer news. So if you're an Arsenal fan like Fred Smith, good morning. Yesterday, again, Arsenal did the usual. Anyway, let's get to BBC News. BBC News brought to us by Fidelity Bank, Believe With Us, and Sefi Brothers.
This is
What